Okay, here we go. This is just going to talk a little bit about all this pool cue creation equipment. We've got a gentleman here that nickname is Sweets, I heard.
David Crosby.
David Crosby. He's over here checking this out. He writes on a national level for all these billiard pool cues, and he's just checking all this stuff out, and it's just amazing. Tell me about some of these pieces you got right there.
Well, you're looking at a Robert Black custom right here, which is actually handwritten by him. You have a Sean, which is by Sean and Brothers as well, and Sons in the family. The Sean right here basically will retail for, just with this and the standard cue that it would come with, the actual cue, with it having 5-point inlay and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8-point inlay at the bottom, any type of decor at the bottom, inlay or artwork at all. If it was blank, it would still be worth $700. You're looking at $1,000 for just
Holy cow, for just one in pool cue.
Just one.
Amazing. Now this guy, didn't he build, what was he doing, Robert, when he was building all these pool cues?
Well, this is a Sean.
These were custom made by pool cue builders. He had a lathe and was making sticks, but obviously he collected fine sticks as well.
Which the lathe is here as well.
Oh, so the lathe is what we're selling. So we're selling the things that he made plus the ones that he collected. So this is his personal collection of really special pool cues.
Yes,
is what you're telling me.
You could tell actually that this one right here was supposed to be a grand finale one. This could have been an upwards of $3,000. If you look right, turn right around here, they usually do that with a little etching pen.
How cool.
And they put a little ink on it, and those are very hard to find. Usually Del Perry will do stuff like this as well. A lot of custom key makers will do that. And usually with these Seans, you won't find a Sean that actually says Sean on the shaft. You actually have two of these.
Wow.
And both of those together easily run you $600 to $800 on a conservative estimate, to be honest with you. And it doesn't look like that they've even been played with yet.
That's pretty cool.
And you have a Predator 314 shaft right behind it. And that shaft right there would go for about $300-400.
Wow, just the shaft alone?
Just the shaft alone. Just the shaft. So, and you're looking
I'll refrain from making some smarty pants comment.
little things like this right here, these little inlays right there around the composite material, the fiber there. On that Cabola right there, those are so hard to do. They have to do that with a razor blade on almost like they're splicing film for like a movie.
Well, you know, it's so lucky that you walked in the door. How cool is this? That we know that. I know that.
It's very hard to find them like that.
Yeah.
Let me set this one behind here as well.
Robin just looked up your Facebook and found all the cool things that you did. And you said you know some of these guys on these DVDs?
Yeah, actually, I have them on my Facebook as well. And Hamilton, I didn't know that he was actually done. I didn't know he was done.
Robin, you know the story about this, right? What's the deal with this gentleman, or is this Bob's deal?
No, this was just a fellow out of Homosassa who was in the art of making pool cues and did.
I can definitely find out more from Alex. Alex, who owns the break room. He's another fellow that I've traveled on the road with as well. We all know a lot of the same people. I could even call a couple people right now as well, including Lucky Luke, and find out.
Lucky Lou.
Yeah.
Sounds like a good pool cue name.
He's a great. I mean, you have another Sean right here. Here's another Sean.
Wow.
So, I mean, you're back to back with not only custom cues. You got here's the first Sean that I showed you right here. This would be your second Sean with bird's eye maple.
Wow.
With Cabola inlays, with very long inlays. Here's something I wanted to point out on this custom one. That I think it was John Black. You see how it comes to a point and these don't come to a point? You can tell that these are done on a lathe because they're rounded. You see how these come to an actual point?
Yeah.
They have to do them by hand and cut them all the way to a point exactly by hand, and they have to be set in by hand. Every single point that you see, you can actually feel them a little bit because they're done, as well as this one.
That's one of the coolest things about having this business. You meet people that have such areas of expertise, and they know exactly what they're talking about.
Oh yeah, these are no dummy cues. There are some laying around, that are whatever. You have a lot of blanks. These are cues that you can actually play with at home, and they hang to be cured. So you want the oils to get out of them, but you want to retain some, and you can actually see a very fine line. Right here, if you look right here, there's a very fine line, like a ring.
Right there.
Yeah. And this is from them spinning it and actually trying to keep a lot of the oils in it, as well as trying to evaporate as much moisture out of it as possible, but keeping the natural oil of the wood in it before they go ahead and seal it.
Very cool.
And there's a lot of these right here. There's a lot of them, and they don't look amateur at all. They're not amateur cues.
Robert, you want to walk with him and kind of point out some of the cool stuff, and then talk a little bit about what.
Well, you got a box of them over here too as well.
Check this. There you go.
You got a ring of them here of blanks. You've got some that are worth money. You had an old, you had a Mucci and a Malley.
Mucci and Malley, we did, yes.
And this is another custom right here. It goes to a point. Now, sometimes don't be fooled always by a point. Just because it comes to a point doesn't mean that it's always going to be 100%, because it could possibly be a decal.
Okay.
Which that is not a decal; those are actual true inlays. Cues like this, these are decaled. That's a sticker.
Okay.
That's basically a sticker.
Okay.
Now you're still looking at $20 to $100 and something cues.
What are these for? Inlays?
Like this is a Q-Tech.
Okay.
These are, yeah, actually these are different. Okay, this is exactly what you get. That's it. Inlay patterns right there. That's exactly how you make
Some of these,
that's how you make the butt ends.
some of these butt ends with the
Here,
canister.
yeah,
Okay.
some of the different designs, you have to make them by hand. They might even be custom, or they could even been bought by a company or a manufacturer. And, oh, the phenolic tip, the phenolics.
Yeah, and then we have a very large collection of assorted sticks that just came in, so we'll be pulling those out. And
Yeah, you can see
put
them
on
on the
display.
turn. There was actually one that was very interesting. I found just a moment ago. I think I set that one right here your way. I think I set it right way. I set it right here actually.
Okay.
Anyway, that had a oh, here it is.
I'll put a
All right. Right here on this cue, which is actually a little snooker style cue or a billiard style cue,
Right.
has an old name on it here. Great American, I forget what that would be. Well, it's something incorporated basically is what this is boiling down to. But what we're finding that's neat, you have a phenolic tip on this, and the
Okay.
really custom part that I thought was very interesting was this is either ivory,
Okay.
done from an ivory dealer, or this is phenolic, is what a white phenolic on top of real phenolic. So
Okay.
this isn't a tip. See how shiny it is? It has the same material
Right,
on top
okay,
as it
yep.
anywhere. This is either you'd use it for jumping because you have to strike the ball forward on top. The ball has to move forward before it can actually leave the table. This would make the ball actually leave the table. Or it's an incredible breaking cue. So when you go to break and you get into it and go for that break, literally the cue ball, the phenolic, and the aerometh off the ball will just fly right off the tip. You cannot break the tip, you can't crack the tip or anything, but you can crack the cue ball.
Okay.
So this is actually a breaking tip. So this is probably $150, $200 worth of work
Wow.
easily, just on the tip. Even though the cue is just a Lacassi, these particular Lacassis, the 704, is just a black linear line. It's a good starting line, but the weight of it is good for breaking as well. And just the Lacassi by itself, it should be a quick release, which it is,
Okay.
quick release.
Yep.
And they go for upwards of $80 to $200, depending on who's selling it or whatever. But I'd say conservatively $100. Conservatively $100 right there. That's not including the tip.
Okay.
Then you have an old Mucci here. It's missing the butt out of it, but they're weighted, so you can actually put
Reweight it to whatever
Exactly.
is your particular style. Or
It should be
your-
around 18 ounces right now. You can make it a 19 or a 20 or 21 ounce. You could do whatever it is for preference. The old tie-dye right here, I remember these things went for quite a bit, $300 to $700, all depending on what type of rabbit had. But it's still in good condition, and you have a mallee.
Okay.
And mallees are very hard to find. You don't find mallees very often, and especially in this good a condition with the original Irish linen, with the original stain color on that. Which is neat because they're both maple. You still get your curly maple, so you're getting the best of both worlds.
Okay.
A lot of your money cues are definitely your Seans, your Predators, the Mucci's, but you have a lot of equipment.
Yeah.
You have blanks. You have these stocks down here with Purple Heart and Cabola and Maple. Talking about 80 pounds worth of really good blank. I mean, this is some serious Brazilian wood.
Okay.
Very, very hard to come by, and very hard to find cured and ready to work with.
Okay.
And a lot of the miscellaneous cues and everything are great. They'll generate some revenue, obviously. But your big money is in the lathe back here.
Okay. Let's take a look at that lathe.
You got a lathe that's probably easily, very conservatively in pieces, $5,000. But when you start looking down at some of these smaller pieces that you have everywhere, these heads and the motors and the spinning parts to actually take, you can take this. This is a portable one.
Okay.
So when they have events anywhere, you can actually take this with you, set it down on a table, you have a booth, and as people need their tips trimmed or they need a new tip or anything, it lays out on the other side. They lay down your shaft on it, they spin it, condition your shaft, and put a whole new tip and everything in front of you for anywhere from $15 to $25, depending on the tip that you're getting. The hardware up here, all the mathematics and everything, your rulers, this is so precise that is really too hard to even just put into words at the moment. It takes a lot of talent, a lot of skill to even operate this machinery, especially when it comes to the Dremel bits that actually, these rotate back and forth. And you
Okay.
can actually move the wood in with it as well. Obviously, these are all made for cues. If you look at your inserts here, they're all made for cues and tips.
Okay.
These are made for your shafts.
All right.
You have other ones there that are made for the butt. Just like that one right there. And the butt end of the cue, and I mean, it's very important that everything is balanced perfect. This is machinery right here that is probably going to, let's see, between 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, about 8 pieces up there. All the boxes, everything down there.
Where's Mama?
There's no less than $12,000 to $15,000 worth of
Unbelievable.
worth of just lathe equipment.
Okay.
And this is just for billiards. This isn't for just common work and
Strictly, it's specifically for cues, pool cues,
for
and
crafting.
crafting and reworking sticks.
Crafting ferrules, tips, leather, cue shafts, and the blanks, those blocks that you were just previously looking at and everything on there, that's exactly where all this comes right to, and like the pattern stencils and everything. You have a whole Rubbermaid container over there of stencils
We do.
that are pencil. See, actually, you might want to take a look at those real quick.
Yeah.
Just do one last look.
Now we'll have these laid out tomorrow. The sales at 6 o'clock tomorrow.
6 o'clock
Our
tomorrow.
5 o'clock sale starts around 6. We'll be working with the
Right here.
with the
Here's your tapes, your clamps, your inlay patterns, and receipts. Well,
Okay.
obviously you don't have any receipts, but your inlay patterns, just to give you an idea. For some of the lower end work like he was just talking about a moment ago, these are a lot of your different designs.
okay.
And this would be some of your more expensive woods and materials that your, whatever composite materials you may be working with, whatever, go in this and get cut and
We've
shaped
got all
up
that
into
stuff too.
And it goes, yeah, I was gonna say, he was just
It's
talking
all
about
around
how,
here somewhere. We got it.
if that material's there too, you have everything here you need to actually start, not only to start doing points, you can do them all different directions, around the cue. You have enough here to literally start a little pull industry.
Okay.
Here,
Well,
I mean,
there's a lot of
this is a dream for me right here. Look at
Uh-huh.
all the tips, your cutting tips and everything right there
threads
too.
and there's just, that's full. It's just, this is all out of his room.
Really? Oh wow. Oh yeah, that's for wrapping. That's all your Irish linen right there. You have Irish linen in there as well. Here's more rails, clamps basically, large clamps, rails. These are for jump cues as well, right here. This is part of the jump cue. This is a custom butt end right here for either a
Okay.
3-piece or for playing on a 12 or a 14-foot pool table. You would use this in between your cue, in between the butt and in between the shaft.
all right. The extension for the
And it also has weight to it, so if you use it on just the shaft, you can use the phenolic, like I was telling you a minute ago, even though this is a quick release,
okay.
off the Lacoste. This shaft goes to that Lacoste because of the joint, but if you have one you could screw onto that, it would shorten it up, and then this would actually raise you up to one of these angles. So if you're actually on top of a cue ball and you have a ball in front of you, and you have the ball right there, and it's like boom, the ball just hops over the other ball. You can go cross table, pop it straight up over, or just up, down, and back, or masse.
Very good.
These are very unique. Very unique. A lot of, so whoever had all this definitely not only knew what they were doing, they were making a lot of money while they were doing it.
Okay.
And they have this is everything you need in the industry.
Is that maybe an estate sale?
That was his life.
That's why all that stuff was.
Yeah, we were working with the courts and the heirs to liquidate this. So what we'll be doing over the course of the next week is to kind of get these pieces and parts put together so that we can actually assimilate, make sure we've got
So we're not gonna
all the
sell
right.
them this week. We'll go ahead and put them aside
I
and put
would
all
if I
that
were
stuff.
you. I would
Yeah.
do a little bit more appraisal and
Do some
see-
homework and-
see
So
if I
how
can get
long
a
is
good
he here
price.
visiting Mom?
I'll be here for months actually.
Oh, so
I'm
you're
gonna be
moving,
finding
well,
other
Well,
bakers.
I moved here and he said, I'm going back to Orlando. Then he says, well,
Okay.
no, I'll.
So it's been very informative, and we thank you for
problem.
for giving us a
Thank
little
you.
lead through here.
It's
And
a
we'll
pleasure
be
to run into stuff like this.
yeah, and we'll be communicating again after tomorrow's sale. We have a chance to put things out and spread it out and have a closer look. So
Oh yeah,
Put 'em
definitely.
out there to
all right.
sell right
Thank you.
now.
thank you for taking time to talk to us.
All right.